Yeah, no, because Colby could always just turn it into a wrestling match and just hug Leon's leg and not fight and not take part in the fighting at all. And just hug his leg and hug his leg harder than Leon can get away, and that's a possibility. Who knows? It could be a tough one for Leon as well. Leon's not the best offensive wrestler, like Usman. Usman doesn't give him any takedowns and no riding time. Leon's not that same type of defensive wrestler like Usman, so there could be some problems he could run into as well.
Like I said, Leon is confidence is starting to just increase and increase and increase. And confidence is a hell of a drug. If he truly believes in himself going into that fight, I think he has a really, really good shot. But Colby does what he does very well, very well. Somehow his style is just effective. It's effective, I'm 50-50, to be honest.
Leon Edwards Scissorhands Scott, I mean, he knows who daddy is. He knows that he has to prepare for chaos, guys. So he knows he needs a full year training camp. But the thing is, guys, it doesn't matter what Leon Scott does. This is destiny. This is the history of 1776 coming back. There's nothing he can do to stop it. And so I can't wait, man. I'm so excited. I wish it was tomorrow. I'm ready today. I was ready yesterday. I was ready last week. Been ready my whole life, and no one's going to stop me right now. It's my time to shine. Stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, all you nerds and virgins. Colby's back.
A new champion is refreshing because for Colby Covington, those championship aspirations were done, right? He had lost to Usman twice. But you see a new champ. You see a new champ that if you look back long enough and you squint far enough, you see a guy that can be taken down multiple times. And you also recognize that Covington has two things, bro. He has an endless gas tank. He is going to wrestle you for as long as there is time on the clock, and he is going to be in your face for as long as there's time on the clock. And if he feels like there is any part of you that he can attack to try and break you, Colby Covington will go find that. So whether you love him or you hate him, you gotta respect Colby Covington for the way that he fights and the way that he competes. And honestly, he is a tough challenge matchup-wise for the new champ, Leon Rocky Edwards, but I don't know if I'm picking anybody to beat the guy that I saw beat Kamaru Usman in the way that he did.
But I think beating Usman in the manner that he did, in the efficient manner that he did, I think sets him up perfectly to face someone like Colby Covington. But one thing is for sure, Edwards better be ready for 25 minutes of hell. Doesn't mean, he's not going to be more technical. That's fine. But, just like a Merab Dvalishvili, Colby Covington has that capability as well.
Yeah, I think it's a great stylistic matchup for me. Styles make fights. He doesn't fight very well against southpaws, and it's funny that I say that because it's ironic because Marty started out the first whole round in southpaw, and I remember the UFC camera was on me, and I was like, this is strange. Marty doesn't ever come out for southpaw, let alone stay for that long. So I think he saw a weakness in Leon that he doesn't fight good against southpaws. I mean, look what happened when Leon fought a guy that I destroyed for 3 rounds straight, Brian Barberena. Brian Barberena dropped Leon with an uppercut, left uppercut, and he's a southpaw, and he almost finished him. And a lot of people thought Brian won that fight. So he doesn't do well against southpaws. It's a great stylistic matchup for me. He doesn't have as much hunger and as much heart as me. He's not a complete fighter like me. I'm going to expose him. I'm going to make him look bad.
I think Colby presents a whole different set of problems for Leon because he's a southpaw, so it takes away those strong side attacks, and he could push a faster pace. I'm friends with his former college coach Kevin Roberts. Shout out to Kev, and he said that Colby, even all through college, had a third lung. This is a guy that was just that was one of his best weapons. So this isn't something that came through his MMA career. He's just born. Some guys are just born with it.
I think with Colby, I don't think he's going to have those. By the way, I don't feel like this makes Colby the victor in the fight at all, but I think he's going to push the pace a little bit more. I don't think he will be quite as hesitant. I don't think he'll be a little not afraid, but a little more, the consequences of engaging in the fight won't be quite as relevant in his mind. Right. So I think Colby's going to go at him a lot more. I think he's a little bit faster, but I don't think he hits as hard. But still, I think the stamina, the pace that he can push, it does present a couple of slightly new problems for Leon.
But that being said, one thing about Colby Covington is he will rush you like a rat on a cheetah. I mean, he's in from the start of the fight. He's like Merab. He's like Merab Dashishvili. These guys, they just have a threshold of what it is to just wrestle. And if you don't have that, they're eventually gonna bring you up on their feet, and they're gonna eventually hurt you.
Colby will throw himself into offensive wrestling situations and be very stubborn there because he doesn't have to worry about fatigue. He can go from a single to a double to a body lock to a single to a double in a fight, really sequence them together and not have like that. There's nothing more exhausting in a fight than putting in a ton of effort for takedowns and not getting them. It really saps your life bar, it saps your confidence, but that doesn't apply to Colby Covington. So I think it could put Leon in that situation where it doesn't matter if they're fighting in Salt Lake City, if they're in London, wherever. Colby can make it feel like Leon's fighting at elevation again because he can push that kind of high pace.
Leon's tactics and his game plans and his fight IQ and his knowledge is something that I aspire to be like. You know, his decision making is second to none. His technique's perfect all the time, but his decision making, his timing is perfect on his decisions.
Leon Edwards doesn't lose. He doesn't lose. He lost to Kamaru Usman way back in the day. Then he won all them fights and had a no contest against Bilal Muhammad. He doesn't lose. So what they're doing is having very selective memory. They're trying to remember that guy way back in 2015 from Orlando. But I gotta be honest with you, that guy doesn't exist anymore. That dude can strike with anyone. He's in phenomenal shape because he went 25 minutes at an insane pace, him and Kamaru did, and he also can defend takedowns.
It's me and Leon now. It's USA versus England. You know, there's so many angles and storylines. Former champion versus former champion, you know, winning streak versus winning streak. It's going to be a great fight for the fans, you know, and he's already mentally broken now, you know, so, you know, he needs to pick himself up. He needs to get back in the training gym and bring your best effort, because when you bring your best effort this summer, it doesn't matter. It's not going to be good enough, Leon. You're going to get broken. You're going to get freaking exposed. And Colby Chaos Covington is going to be undisputed welterweight champion of the world. And it's going to be beautiful.
As an American, by the way, even though Colby and I aren't necessarily seeing eye to eye these days, I have to admire, if not acknowledge, his patriotism, right? How often does somebody actually get out there and say, you know, I got to get one back on the UK because Edwards just beat Usman? It's very rare that American fighters sort of, you know, claim the stars and stripes the way he does. So I appreciated that.
Colby Covington, if there's one thing, guys, take notes, this dude is always chirping. He is always chirping, talking shizness, probably asking for a knuckle or two, know what I'm saying? But he knows how to sell a damn fight.
He's done a really good job. I don't think people are giving him enough credit, because 3-4 years ago, whenever he started this, 5 years ago when he started kind of acting like that, even I remember talking shit. I was like, I don't like that. I think it's stupid. What are you doing? Now I'm more interested, and I don't think he's gotten the credit that he deserves, you know, being this guy, this character, this Colby Chaos Covington. I like it. I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
And I want to see Colby versus Leon.
Shit, Colby's getting it. I'm pretty sure it makes good numbers for pay-per-view and shit like that. And, you know, honestly, I would love to see Leon win, because nobody really likes Colby, but Colby probably gets the job done, unfortunately. Just a different type of fighter, even though he has the same, like, you know, pressure and the strike is not as good. But I just think that he's going to wrestle harder than Usman did and, you know, probably get the job done, unfortunately. That being said, fuck Colby Covington. Everybody agrees.
Of course, Leon Covington would be an interesting fight. Like, Colby Covington could wrestle him into his comfort zone, and Leon can sit on the back foot sometimes too much. I feel like if Usman had wrestled him more, he would have been able to, you know, deplete him and, you know, and discourage him. And I think that Covington wouldn't play on the outside, having, you know, seen what he did to Usman.
Really, stylistically, styles do make fights, and Usman and Colby, they just match up. It's a hard fight for each other. It's a hard fight for Colby. Whereas Masvidal and Leon, I think, is a good fight for Masvidal. But I think Colby's a bad fight for Leon. You know, it's kind of like that triangle, rock, paper, scissors sort of formula.